Hi, my name is Voya and welcome to my deep guide. For a longer period of time, I wanted to do a comparison between not writing experience, but the actual writing quality, the end result that we get, how usable it is when you go outside of the device specific format and you want to share what you've written, drawn, or something like that with somebody else or use on your computer further on and see which device is the best and which gives the most versatile or best results. So let's check that out. Alright, so let's go over the PDFs and PNGs that I exported from all of the devices and compare and see what does it look like. So this is Boox Note 3 and a PDF, and as you can see this is the full page size and it looks very nice. And also when we zoom into 100% we can see that it's exported at a quite high resolution, so it is possible to zoom it in normally, so that's a very cool thing to see. And this is the PNG export of the Boox Note 3 of the same page, and we have pretty much the same results here. So let's zoom in, and we can zoom in pretty high, and you can see that the filtering that the Boox device use is very cool. Very cool type of results both on PDFs and PNGs on the Note 3. Similar story is on Note Air as well, so very little difference. This is Note 3, this is Note Air, and as expected the results are extremely similar. Same resolution, same quality, so if you can zoom in to 100% and it looks smooth and pretty, and you can zoom in further, let's say 400%, and you get the same type of anti-aliasing of the resolution itself. But of course when you use it in normal mode like zoom to page or even at 100%, it's all very smooth, very readable and clean. Same story continues. This is Note Air as PNG, the same page exported, and again we have very readable text. You can zoom in pretty far and it kind of keeps it normal, readable, clean and tidy. So, and of course the consistency between between the PDF and the PNG, what you get from the Note Air is equally good as on Note 3. Same story again continues on Nova 3, not surprising because this is due to how Boox platform works. But it's nice to see that it translates well onto the smaller format of 7.8 inches as well. And the same story here, we have the PDF at a page fit. This is the PDF at the 100% zoom, and as you can see, nice, clean and tidy. And of course we can zoom in and see the results pretty much the same as before. So I like that the consistency there, especially that when you flip to PNG, this is the same page PNG format from Nova 3, same story continues. Very nice and clean and enough of a resolution to allow for zooming in and checking things out nicely. Next we have the Quirklogic Papyr, and I've tried to kind of match the thickness of the brushes as well as I could, but of course there's going to be some discrepancies, so that's just something to kind of keep in mind. This is the full page fit. This is 100%. So right off the bat, the exported resolution, while it looks very clean, the resolution for the PDF at least is lower than what we get on the Boox devices, because I mean, as you can see, if we go to 100% here on the Note Air, we get a much bigger thing. And maybe somebody would say like, oh no, that's actually a problem because what about the resolution? Well, there's a very cool thing that Quirklogic actually does when they export, and that is when you write, the strokes are exported as strokes. They are not rasterized. So when you export a PDF from Quirklogic Papyr, you basically have infinite zoom levels. That's a very big advantage over the Boox platform. So while the Boox does export nicely, cleanly, and everything is kind of cool, this is rasterized. There is a way that you can get the same type of non-rasterized documents from the Boox platform, but in order to get that, you have to actually use the Boox Cloud service. So only if you export the PDF from the Boox Cloud, the Boox Cloud will convert everything to strokes, and then you will be able to get this. But I am now testing what you can get directly from the device. So I am gonna keep it like that and just kind of mark it that what you export from the Boox device is rasterized, and therefore you do have the resolution limitations. What you export from the Quirklogic Papyr as a device is not rasterized, and therefore that is a big plus for me. However, as I said, I just want you to be aware that you have that possibility on the Boox platform as well, but it does require access to a computer, access to the Boox Cloud, and that one extra step. So yeah, an inconvenience for sure, but definitely possible. Now back onto the Papyr, and when exported as a PNG, you can see that it's very nice and clean, and the resolution is quite good. Now PNG is of course an image format, so no vectors or anything like that, but it is exported at a very nice resolution, and it allows for decent amount of zooming. So overall, very nice results from the Quirklogic Papyr, and a very big plus that it exports directly from the device non-rasterized PDFs. This is the Remarkable one, which is exported as a PDF, and it's exported at an okay resolution, but you know, it's probably the smallest of them all, so it is very small resolution. That's a bit of a problem. However, similar to how Quirklogic and Papyr do things by default, it is exporting the strokes themselves, and the strokes are nice, but not nice enough, because you can see that some of the optimizations are kind of weird. So let me just check that testing, and let's do the same type of level of zooming in. So you can see this is the result of Quirklogic Papyr export, and this is the result of Remarkable one. And the strokes, how they're interpreted and what is done is a little bit more messy. You can see that we have some lines and kind of quirkiness here, and the curves are kind of too optimized, so you lose some of the finesse of the writing, which is not the case on the Papyr. So for me, definitely a big plus that the Remarkable is also able to export non-rasterized PDFs directly from the device, but the end results are a bit better as far as I'm concerned on the Papyr, because yeah, as you can see, we lose some of the defining features here. When we switch to the PNG, then there's a bit of an issue with Remarkable one, and the biggest issue is not the resolution, which is fine, but it's actually there's no filtering, no anti-aliasing of any kind. You end up with absolutely horrid quality as far as an image goes, and that's a bit of a problem, because it's supposed to be writing in a drawing device, and for drawings you're much better off exporting as a PDF and then kind of doing something, or as an SVG, because PNG format exporting, it's just absolutely dreadful. So not a good result on Remarkable one as far as the PNGs go, and as far as PDFs go, definitely a plus for non-rasterization, but the filtering of the vectors could be a little bit better because we lose some of the details. Same story continues on Remarkable 2 as well, because they are using the identical platform and identical standards. So we have the same thing. When we export from the device as a PDF, we get the non-rasterized type of content and a little bit different and better kind of filtering. However, then we get the imprecisions, and I tried my best to write as lightly as I could, kinda to try to eliminate the jagged edges out of the equation if I could. However, and of course I'm not using any of the hacks, because that's not the point, where I'm testing what the device is able to do via normal factory updates, and basically like what's the factory state of the device. So I'm not interested in hacks or anything like that. And you can see that the results are better. So we definitely see that increased resolution of strokes is interpreted better compared to Remarkable 1. especially here in the G. But again, when I compare it to the Papyr, we can see that the Papyr does it way more nicely, way more smoothly, and we have very unclean and kind of jaggedy results. As much as I tried, you get these jaggies all over the place, even when, you know, lightly testing it, at least on my device. I mean, you can see that they're kind of everywhere. Overall, it may not be like a thing that you see immediately, but if I switch between the two at the same level, for example, you can see that the perception of course, this is thinner, but not just thinner, it's a lot cleaner. And the result of that cleaner results compared to Papyr and Remarkable 2 are those kind of inconsistencies and imperfections in the interpretation of the lines. But overall, Remarkable 2 does have that better pressure sensitivity resolution, and it does interpret it a little bit better than the Remarkable 1. Unfortunately, when we go to the PNGs, we actually end up with the same problem here. So yeah, that's really not something that I can find acceptable because this is just horrible. Very similar results. This is Remarkable 2, this is Remarkable 1, pretty much identical results here. At this level of degradation, the jagged edges are the least of your concerns. The biggest concern is, of course, the lack of any filtering, anti-aliasing or anything like that. And for that reason, for me, the PNG exporting from the Remarkable is simply not a usable thing. It's just too ugly. Then we have the Supernote A6, not A6X, this is the A6, because there are differences. And yeah, first of all, we can see that the default resolution is a little bit smaller, so on the smaller side of things. And when we zoom in, we can see that it is rasterized and it is not filtered. And that's definitely the worst of the exported results as far as I'm concerned, simply because, yeah, you can have either or. I don't have a problem with Boox rasterizing the end result simply because the filtering by default is very, very nice. This is Nova 3 with the filtering, even though it's rasterized. The filtering really helps and the resolution really helps, which is most definitely not the case with the Supernote A6, unfortunately, as far as the PDFs go. So not a good result there. And when we switch to the PNG, again, Supernote A6, you get the same type of a story. So the resolution is okay, but similar to how it was on the Remarkable, we don't have any anti-aliasing, no filtering at all. However, they are still a bit better than the Remarkable results. So let's compare. This is Supernote A6, and now let's just see the same thing. Testing and testing. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, maybe there's some differences, but to me and to my eyes, they're both very, very bad. As far as the exporting PDFs and PNGs, not that great. And then we get finally to Supernote A6X. And yeah, it just is the same story. It does write a little bit better and nicer than the A6 by default. So definitely I am getting nicer, cleaner results, not the thickness only. It's just the forming of the letters and the curves and how it actually holds the shape. It is definitely a little bit nicer than the A6 itself. However, we have the same exact problem, which is that the result is not filtered and it is rasterized. So there's nothing you can actually do about it. It's yeah, not selectable or anything like that. That's a bit of a problem, definitely, for as an end result. The same story is here as a PNG, not filtered, and the resolution is okay, but yeah, no anti-aliasing or anything like that. That's definitely a problem because it gives for subpar results. And in PNGs, you can see this difference in clarity a little bit more. Yes, the thickness of the pen is a little bit different, but not enough to actually compensate for that kind of difference in precision of how the lines are actually kind of traced. And you can see that it's a little bit better. However, those differences are minute compared to the degradation that you get from lack of filtering and lack of anti-aliasing, which is most definitely a problem. Alright, so I don't know about you guys, but I certainly was surprised about that. For me, the absolute clear winner is of course the Quirklogic Papyr. So yeah, it does have the slow response rate, and yeah, it has a dedicated pen, but the writing feel is something that I really do like about the Papyr. The overall functionality and the usability, I think it has the best of both worlds. Simply because the PDFs are non-rasterized by default, so that means they're usable anywhere, and the vector conversion is very nice and smooth, as opposed to what you get on the Remarkable. While the level of details was better on Remarkable 2 compared to Remarkable 1, so we had better curves and all that kind of stuff, we also had the jaggies and a little bit of imprecision. However, when we get to the PNG results, when you export something as a PNG, then the Papyr is absolutely the dominant one compared to the Remarkable. Now, the Boox is also interesting, and for me, Boox is a close second, simply because, yes, by default, you don't have the non-rasterized option. If you export it directly from the device, it will be rasterized, which is a bad thing, and I do hope they give us an option, or maybe I don't yet know where the option is, but it would be good to have that option to send a non-rasterized version of the PDF document directly from the device. However, if you go to the Boox Cloud and export your notes from there, then the Boox Cloud service does the vectorization, if you will, for you, and that way you can send the non-rasterized PDFs from there. Why is the Boox platform close second and not Remarkable? Simply because even the non-rasterized version of the Boox platform is really high quality, excellent filtering, excellent anti-aliasing, and very high resolution, so it's very usable. And the same thing goes with the PNGs, as opposed to Remarkable, which has pretty much unusable PNG results. I mean, this is just completely unusable as far as I'm concerned. That's definitely not the case on Boox, because yeah, you have really nicely filtered and anti-aliased results. So as far as I'm concerned, the best results, definitely the winner is the Quirklogic Papyr, and a close second is the Boox platform. Any of the Boox devices, they all export in the same way. So there we go. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and check out my deep guide on the patreon.com, where if you become an official patron, you can get monthly or bi-monthly behind the scenes type of content, bloggy type of stuff, just as a thank you for your generous support for the My Deep Guide platform. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!